How bad does Red Bull want Sergio Perez out of the team? With the ink on their contract barely dry, it's going to cost them a pretty penny. To the tune of €75 million to be exact. Is he really that expensive to get rid of? The answer is yes, and here's why. McLaren has clinched its first constructors' title in 25 years, and they owe a debt of gratitude to an unlikely hero, Red Bull's Sergio Perez. Checo's underwhelming performance as a second driver proved to be the Achilles heel that ultimately cost Red Bull the top spot, and nearly $20 million in prize money. Despite Max Verstappen's dominating win in the Drivers' Championship, Perez's struggles behind the wheel meant Red Bull was unable to fend off McLaren's charge, handing the British team a thrilling victory in the constructors' title fight. A meeting was held Monday at Red Bull headquarters to discuss Checo's future with the team, and, with a fresh contract still in place, a buyout is the only way to get rid of him. Formula One fans, though, will have to wait a little longer to hear who will be Verstappen's 2025 teammate, but the announcement should come sometime this week, according to motorsport advisor Helmut Marko. The rumours surrounding Perez's replacement, potentially Liam Lawson, will continue to build until the official confirmation is made. A driver lineup featuring Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz was possible earlier this season, and it would have been a highly competitive and attractive pairing for 2025. But since resigning Checo, they've missed out on the Spaniard. With the team now reportedly considering replacing Perez, Christian Horner was asked by Adam Cooper if he had any regrets about extending the contract too soon. Horner's response to the question is, obviously, at the time, Sergio was performing extremely well. I think he had, 4 podiums in the first 5 races, and in order to settle his mind and extend that run of form for the rest of the season, we elected to go early, which obviously didn't work. That's just life sometimes. Nico Rosberg estimates the buyout to be around €16 million. But forget about that. Other former Bridgestone engineer Kees van der Grint claims Sergio Perez is pushing for a staggering €75 million in his contract dispute with Red Bull. While no official decision has been announced, the delay seems to come from ongoing negotiations over Perez's buyout sum between his legal team and Red Bull's representatives. Speaking to Viaplay, van der Grint explained, "It is not clear to me yet. I think he is not leaving, he refuses to resign. There are 2 possibilities: he drives next year or he gets an awful lot of money. The question is what such a buyout amount does to the story. I think the buyout sum is somewhere between €50 and €65 million, said his fellow pundit Allard Kalf. But van der Grint thinks that number is too low. I think it's even more. €75 million seems like a good number to me. You have to buy out 2 years of his contract. As Red Bull weighs the cost of Sergio Perez's potential buyout against the lucrative Constructors' Championship prize money, Viaplay analyst Nelson Kalf points out another critical factor: Perez's value through sponsorship deals and South American market influence. This financial impact, Kalf suggests, explains why Helmut Marko says that the final decision will rest with the team's shareholders. That's why Helmut Marko says that the shareholders have to judge because they can't decide this themselves, said Kalf. He simply has a contract, and Red Bull now says, maybe we shouldn't do it after all. Then you start talking about money. You have to buy out 2 years of the contract and you don't get any money from Carlos Slim for 2 years. That's a huge amount. The Thai and Austrian shareholders have to decide on this. Marko and Christian Horner can't decide this together. Maybe they'll say later, this is too much, stay put. We've known for a long time that they want to get rid of him. He's in a good position. Van der Grint accepted. In hindsight, it was not a good movement from Red Bull, but it was a move by Horner to motivate him and to get some peace in the house. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix marked a pivotal moment in the season, as Oscar Piastri's second win of the year drew him level with teammate Lando Norris, and more importantly, left Sergio Perez in the dust. The Australian rookie's impressive victories highlighted the stark contrast between his performance and Perez's, who struggled to find the top step of the podium. McLaren's clever strategy of deploying a 2-car attack paid dividends, as they managed to create a buffer between themselves and Red Bull in the standings. Despite Max Verstappen's late-season surge, which included 2 wins, McLaren's consistent points haul from both cars kept Red Bull at arm's length, ultimately securing the Constructors' title for the Woking team. In a season marked by McLaren's resurgence, the Woking team's relentless pursuit of podiums paid off in the end. As Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri consistently sprayed champagne, Sergio Perez's struggles to score points became a recurring theme. The stark contrast between the 2 teams' fortunes ultimately led to McLaren's triumphant Constructors' Championship win, with Red Bull slipping to 3rd behind Ferrari. former F1 driver Jan Lammers has weighed in on the season's outcome, saying that while McLaren's well-deserved title win was a testament to their strength in depth, Perez's underwhelming performance undoubtedly made their task easier. According to Lammers, McLaren clearly deserved the team's title with their two drivers, but Perez's struggle was what gave them their victory. "I definitely think McLaren is the deserved champion this year," Lammers told Enos, "but I also think they can thank Sergio Perez for this. He simply did not function nearly as well as the second driver at McLaren." Sergio Perez's disappointing season may have far-reaching consequences, as Red Bull prepares to announce their 2025 driver lineup. With the team's Constructors' Championship hopes dashed, Perez's inability to provide a strong supporting role to Max Verstappen could cost him his seat. Rumours are circulating that Liam Lawson may be promoted to partner Verstappen, leaving Perez's future uncertain. Meanwhile, McLaren's Lando Norris reflected on a season that ultimately fell short of his driver's championship aspirations. Despite a strong mid-season surge, Norris finished 63 points adrift of Verstappen. A crucial turning point came at the Brazilian Grand Prix, where a red flag and subsequent mistakes after the restart derailed his title bid. However, Lammers has praised Norris for his maturity and self-awareness. Norris has acknowledged that he still has areas to improve upon if he hopes to challenge Verstappen for the title next year. Lammers notes that this willingness to learn and grow is a promising sign for Norris's future prospects. "Next season, everyone will start with a clean slate," Lammers said. Norris says about himself that he has everything it takes to win the title. He has already shown some great things this year, of course, but there were also moments when he himself said, "I still have to learn a thing or two." That is all quite good of him. Ex-Bridgestone engineer Ernest Kors claims that it isn't just Lando Norris who can learn a thing or two from the 2024 season. The Dutchman added, "McLaren really laid a very good foundation this season. I think they paid the price this season because they hadn't really fought for the championship for a long time. Their weak point was constantly getting the most out of that car because since Miami they were actually very fast. Yet they constantly made mistakes, for example by reacting too late to a safety car or by not interpreting the rules completely correctly. Lando learned from that. He will also have learned how to fight with Verstappen because he also has to be harder and more decisive in that. The team needs to be sharper in how they apply certain strategies and how they deal with unpredictable circumstances. That is something you learn from your mistakes. I assume that they have made a huge step in that this year, so I expect that they will be well prepared next year." Max Verstappen has come to the defence of his teammate Sergio Perez, who has faced intense criticism this season. Verstappen believes that some of the criticism has been very harsh, attributing Perez's struggles to the challenging nature of the RB20 car. This public show of support comes at a time when Perez's future with Red Bull hangs in the balance. A mid-season slump in form which he was unable to recover from has raised questions about his ability to consistently perform at a high level. Very different from his struggles in 2023, when he was able to bounce back from qualifying woes, Perez's 2024 season was marked by a prolonged period of underperformance. He ultimately finished a distant 8th in the drivers' standings, a staggering 285 points behind his teammate and championship winner Max Verstappen. On this matter, Max says, "I don't know. I mean, this is up to the team. I always worked really well with Checo. He's a great guy, honestly. It's very rare that you have a teammate like him who has always been very good and just a nice guy to us." Despite the huge gap in their performance, Max Verstappen says that the Mexican driver is not an idiot and that he has been hindered by a car that has not been performing optimally. But what are your thoughts? Is getting rid of Sergio Perez worth €75 million? Tell us what you would do in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.